What would happen if prime Mario Lemieux was on the current day Pittsburgh Penguins, playing alongside Sidney Crosby, Chris Letang, and Evgeny Malkin? I set out to find out what that would be like. Welcome to NHL 22. What would happen? What's up, everyone? Welcome back to After the Storm. This is a first episode of a new series called NHL 22 What Would Happen, or WWH for short. Now, in this series, usually I'm on a webcam, but I'm not doing that with this one. What we're doing here is we are going to explore some what-if type of crazy scenarios. So if you guys can see on the screen already, Mario Lemieux, and from the intro as well, Mario Lemieux, prime Mario Lemieux. We'll go take a look at him right now, just on our little trade screen here. Mario Lemieux, 26 years of age, in his prime. If we put him back on the Pittsburgh Penguins in current day, with Lemieux, Crosby, Guentzel, Letang, and Malkin, how would he fare? How would it go? That's what we're out to explore. We're going to answer these types of questions in this series. So the first one is Mario Lemieux. So we're leaving everything pretty well automated with this. We are going to let the game figure itself out, sign free agents, let people go, sign people. Whatever it wants to do, we're going to let it do. Obviously, this will affect trades just because that's the way the game is made, unfortunately. But in this mode, we're basically going to sim out the remaining years of Lemieux, Crosby, Malkin, Letang, everybody on the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're going to have a 5-year window. Lemieux's deal is for 5 seasons at 2.75, and I think it got adjusted in the game. So I found a website with the average NHL forward salary, and it was about 2.6 something. So I rounded it up to like 2.75 with some inflation. So as you can see, 2.62 million for 5 seasons. We've only got him at 5 seasons because we're gonna let the game figure it out. Every legend in this game has a preset, number of contract years. I didn't make any adjustments to that. We're gonna let him be signed for 5 years. That'll take him till he's 31, and then we'll see what happens with Mario after that. But we will follow pretty much Mario everywhere he goes. Hopefully he sticks around in Pittsburgh. We're not going to make any adjustments to who gets signed where or what deals we're making. The computer will have all the free reign to do that itself. So if they re-sign Malkin, they re-sign Malkin. If they don't re-sign them, him and Letang, then they don't. And here's our lines. Lemieux playing with Crosby and Guentzel to start. I don't think that'll change much, but we'll see how it goes as we progress along throughout the season. So with that in mind, everything else is pretty much automated. We're not going to do any trades. We're not going to do any waiver claims or anything. We're going to let the game take care of that itself. So let's kick off simulating the first season. At the end of the first season, Lemieux missed 6 games with a sprained ankle in the middle of it, but he had 90 points in 76 games and led the Pittsburgh Penguins to 106 points, just one behind the Lightning for the President's Trophy. Taking a look at the rest of the team, Crosby just under a point per game, Guentzel over a point per game, Malkin and Letang, the expected 5 leaders of the team. Look at that plus 40, 46. Crosby surprisingly only had a +5 on the season, Malkin a +33, and Letang a +30. And it looks like the rest of the lineup really got caved in at points. So on to the playoffs we go with a first-round matchup against the Detroit Red Wings. And the rematch of the 2008 and 2009 Cup Finals actually goes to Detroit in 7 games, so a bit of a disappointing first year for Lemieux back in Pittsburgh. The Anaheim Ducks are the Stanley Cup champions, beating the Detroit Red Wings, who took us out in the first round, out in the finals. And 2 teams that 100% in real life would definitely not be in the Stanley Cup Finals in this year end up there. Anaheim beating Detroit. The GM in Pittsburgh re-signs Letang to a 2-year, $6.59 per contract. But it looks like Malkin has departed the organization. And as we begin year number 2, Malkin ended up re-signing on a 1-year deal worth $9.675. So I guess the AI went back after him to make sure he stayed. Caleb Jones comes in, Dean Kukin comes in, John Merrill, and some other ULAV here, and this is a draft pick, I guess. All these off-season acquisitions for the team, including Darcy Kemper as, I guess, the backup for this team moving forward, with Tristan Jarry, as it looks like Casey DeSmith went as a free agent. So we start off year number 2. Lemieux, obviously back with the Penguins. 4 more years left on his contract. Let's see how year 2 shapes out. The second season has wrapped in. Mario went off 107 points in 82 games, didn't get injured, played the entire season. Pittsburgh ends up winning the Metro Division with 109 points, obviously well behind the Lightning and the Blackhawks, who had 122 in this season. But let's go take a look at the stats on the season for Mario and his teammates. So Mario has actually shot up to a 99 overall, 57 goals, 50 assists. So far, 197 points in 158 games. It also appears that Guentzel and Malkin have been his line mates. Crosby is doing his own thing on the second line right now. And as you can tell, it really affects the plus-minus here. Plus 58 for Lemieux, 60 for Guentzel, 39 for Malkin, 38 for Letang. It's a clear discrepancy. When Lemieux is on the ice, this team scores. Lemieux places 3rd in the NHL in points. Did not even come close to winning the Rocket either. Look at OVECHKIN. 73 goals in this season. He might have broken the record, but no, he's very close to the record of goals all time. But yeah, he's 3rd in the NHL in goals and points this season with 107. And on to the playoffs we go with a first-round matchup against a tough team in the Toronto Maple Leafs. And we managed to eliminate the Leafs in 6 games, including 4 overtime wins against them. And now in the second round, a familiar opponent, we take on the Washington Capitals. And we're down to a game 7, of course, to determine the winner and who will face Tampa Bay in the 3rd round. Let's go ahead and live sim this one. First period, Washington with a 1-0 lead. We tie it up in the 3rd with Lemieux. Backstrom takes the lead for Washington. Malkin right back to tie it. McGinn with a go-ahead goal. And Brock McGinn gets a Game 7 winner against the Caps again in his career. A Cap killer. We win 3-2 in advance to face the Tampa Bay Lightning. We get swept by Tampa in the 3rd round, and it appears to me that the Tampa Bay Lightning, we'll go take a look at the playoff tree. I don't believe they lost a game until the Stanley Cup final. That's how crazy of a team Tampa is. Tampa swept us, Ottawa, and Detroit. So Tampa didn't even lose one single game heading into the Stanley Cup final and are now down 2-0 to Edmonton. Tampa themselves got swept in the Stanley Cup final by the Edmonton Oilers. McDavid wins his first cup, but we have some postseason success in year 2. In the second year offseason, Malkin leaves for, I believe, for good. Guentzel, Crosby, Letang still remaining here. Letang has signed an extension for 1 year at 8.685. Take him into his year 37 of his career. We have a new addition in Travis Sanheim on defense. See if there's any other additions. Yegor Sharangovich here, Tyler Pitlick. And Tristan Jarry is exited with Kemper now taking over as the starter with Alexander Georgiev as our backup. On to year 3 in Pittsburgh with Lemieux. And in year 3, despite Lemieux's outstanding season, the Penguins have now missed the playoffs and are in very, very big danger of having to do a complete rebuild. Lemieux, Crosby, and Guentzel, along with Gurianov, who I didn't realize was here, had a pretty solid season. Even Letang had a good season, but again, these plus-minuses have been a big problem. One other thing that I forgot to mention in the last coming into the season is that the coach that had been with the team the past couple seasons is now gone. So that might have contributed negatively to the team. So we have just wrapped season 3, a disappointing end to the year. missing the playoffs. We're going to sim through the off season of season number 3. We're going to come back with year number 4. And Lemieux has just 2 years remaining on his current deal with Pittsburgh, and then potentially he will move on. Maybe he'll re-sign. We don't know yet. We don't know what the AI will do. But let's sim ourselves up to season number 4. The Buffalo Sabres organization pulls the double championship victories here. Sabres winning the Stanley Cup and their affiliate Rochester winning the Calder Cup. And fittingly enough, as we take a look at the playoff tree, the Buffalo Sabres beat Jack Eichel and the Vegas Golden Knights in 7 games to win the 2024 Stanley Cup. Denis Gurianov, who was an excellent player for us to start with, but also had a career season here in Pittsburgh this past year, 68 points in 82 games. Does not re-sign with the Penguins. He heads to free agency looking for about $10 million. And another Penguin that was slated to get re-signed but did not, Kasperi Kapanen, also on the free agent wire. And $23 million in cap space. Let's see what our AI GM does with that. We are through to year number 4. Let's take a look at our lines. It's not looking very good for our squad. Crosby's now dropped to a second line center role. Lemieux has taken over the duties on the first line. Brock McGinn and Jake Gensel, his line mates. Malkin is 100% gone now. Chris Letang's still here. He was extended. Defense is not looking too bad. Goaltending. Oh, look who's back. Look who's back. What did he get for a contract? 2 years at 4.4, 39 years old. Marc-Andre Fleury back in Pittsburgh. That is a nice little surprise to have coming off this past year. Let's hope we can do a little bit better than we did last year. It looks like Beauvillier is an addition. Dennis Malkin maybe an addition here. Nick Foligno certainly an addition. So a little bit of changes here, but not a ton of change for the lineup other than Malkin, Kapanen, and Gurianov leaving in this past offseason. And speaking of Malkin, he signs in Washington, surprisingly. Not really surprisingly. I guess maybe he'd want to go play with OVECHKIN in his career. Still a pretty formidable offensive player, signs 1 year at 8.7. So he has kind of defected over to the rival team. So he is the first one of the big 4, or I guess big 3, in Pittsburgh to have left. And we kick off year number 4. So this year and next are the last on Lemieux's contract. We'll see what happens after that. Hopefully a better outcome this season than the last, missing the playoffs for this Penguins squad. In what was mostly a dogfight between ourselves and the Capitals this past season, the Rangers were also in there for a good portion of the second half of it. Looks like we have won the Metro Division in year number 4, a big bounce back year. Let's go take a look at the stats. So Lemieux and Crosby both end up as a point per game player. Lemieux eclipses 50 goals again. He has done this, I think, almost every season he has played so far. Crosby, 82, Gensel, nearly a point per game. Letang still having some excellent seasons on the defensive end. Looks like he is injured to start the playoffs. And some good depth scoring, too, on this team. Looks like Jani Kuokkanen was an addition at some point that came in here. Nick Foligno didn't do too hot, but again, he's like pretty old at this point, 37 years old. Taking a look at the goalies, Fleury and Georgiev, both at 922, and Fleury 9 shutouts at 40 years of age. His 40th age year, I should say here, but 635 wins, 94 shutouts in his career. So taking a look over the 4 years that Lemieux has been here, he only scored 38 in the first season, but after that he has been above 50 ever since, 57, 58, and 50. He's been a point per game or better player his entire time here. And look at those plus minuses in the first 2 seasons. Plus 40, plus 58. Unreal seasons from Mario. But now we get back to our ultimate goal, winning the Stanley Cup first round matchup with the Florida Panthers. So let's go ahead and simulate game by game here. Game 1, 3-0 loss. Game 2, 5-3 loss. Game 3, an 2-1 overtime loss, down 3-0. Do they have the reverse sweep in them? They do not. 1-0 shutout twice in the series. A massively disappointing first round after winning the Metropolitan Division. And another upsetting season for Mario Lemieux in Pittsburgh. Tampa Bay back to another Stanley Cup in 2025. I think they haven't won one since the initial one. But again, look at Vegas coming in hot into the the Stanley Cup final, only losing one of their 13 games leading into it, and they lose in 7 again. They lost in 7 to Buffalo last season as well. And in 2025, the first of the big names to retire from our squad, Chris Letang, 827 points, 1,182 games, a surefire Hall of Famer, 3 Stanley Cups in his career, but he is the first one to call it quits. So Letang is down. He's still very good at this time. He had an excellent season, 58 points in this last one. Unfortunate to see him go, 38 years old, but I think we're going to get used to seeing this here over the next little while. And a lot of off-season maneuvering to do. It looks like Jake Guentzel got an extension for a lot of money, 10.165 for about 5 seasons here. So that's pretty good to keep one of our core intact. Guentzel only 30, but Crosby here entering his final year at 8.345, and Lemieux at the same time entering the final year for himself. And then of course we have some pretty big name free agents that there's a lot of UFAs on this team, so this might be a team that looks very, very different going into next season. Previewing the 2025 free agent class, this is a stacked one. Mitch Marner out here, Leon Draisaitl, Matty Beniers as an RFA, Shea Theodore out here, Marchand Stamkos, Hall, Giroux still kicking around at 37. Malkin is still here, still playing. Tavares only 34. This is a loaded class right here. Askarov, Leonard, Saros, Blackwood. There's a lot of players to be had here. A lot of money our team could spend as well. So we'll see if they end up doing so. So halfway through this offseason, we got Buchnevich, Chychrun, Capobianco, Lindblom. A lot of new faces here. Almost all this list is actually new faces for this squad. But the biggest one here is Mario Lemieux has signed an extension in Pittsburgh. Looks like he signed, it might be 7-year extension with Penguins. Let's take a look at the trade screen because it'll tell us there. So Lemieux has signed an $11.135 million extension with Pittsburgh for 6 additional seasons, which is good news. Crosby has not been extended yet. Still an 87 overall, 38 though. He is very, very much nearing the end of his career here. Coming into year number 5, which was originally a year where we were going to fear that Lemieux was going to move on from the team. Not the case. Lemieux has now extended. Guentzel is extended. Buchnevich just signed here. I'm not sure for how much. He signed for 4 years. That's pretty good. A nice +5 chemistry on that line. Crosby still the second line center. Crosby's skating has taken a bit of a downturn, same with his physical play, but he is of course 38, about to turn 39. Still the franchise player for this team. And a very new looking lineup for us. The first year without Chris Letang here. Marino taking over the reins for that top pairing now with Jacob Chychrun. Sanheim Zadorov, an old Brent Burns at 40 years old. I don't know how much they paid him. Hopefully not too much. I don't know why he'd signed him to 2 years, but there you are. Fleury and Blomqvist. Joel Blomqvist as the goaltenders, and Matheson and Joseph the extra scratches. So that is our squad heading into year number 5. Let's see if this team can make playoffs and hopefully get something done. We still have yet to make a Stanley Cup final. We lost in the 3rd round. So let's go ahead with year number 5 in Pittsburgh. Year 5 is officially a success. Another Metro Division title, 114 points, well ahead of Carolina and Columbus. The 2 other teams really competing here. Also tying the Leafs for the President's Trophy. A big one. I'm not sure if we have more regulation plus overtime. Probably, given we have 55 wins total, that would be the case. But let's go see if we won the President's Trophy, and then we'll go take a look at the stats. It does look like we have won the President's Trophy in year number 5. Lemieux, obviously a big portion of that, but 51 regulation wins to Toronto's 47. Despite us being tied in points, we do get the win. Look at those goals for 292 on the season. And taking a look at our player stats on the season, a huge year for especially that top line. Mario Lemieux, 109 points, eclipses the 60 goal plateau for the first time in his modern career, I should say. Of course, he did it plenty of times in his real career, but Pavel Buchnevich coming in, a huge season from him as a free agent acquisition, and of course another solid year from Jake Guentzel, and not to mention 38, 39-year-old Sidney Crosby, about to turn 39 in August of this year, 2026, another 76-point season for him. Excellent stuff. Marc-Andre Fleury adds 40 more wins to his resume, 4 shutouts on the season, 906. Definitely not his strongest year, but at age 41, he's still going hard. And we get a first-round matchup with a team that definitely struggled to even get to the playoffs. And traditionally with EA simulations, this is one we are going to lose. But Buffalo, a couple years back, Stanley Cup champions over Vegas. So we will simulate this. Let's see how we do. 8-5 loss in Game 1, 7-3 win in Game 2, 5-4 overtime win in Game 3, up 3-1, 6-1 loss, and we get a 3-2 overtime win in Game number 6, taking out Buffalo in the first round. On to the second round, Columbus is our matchup, Tampa and Toronto in the other Eastern Conference matchup here. Let's start simulating. Game 1 win, Game 2 win, Game 3 win, Game 4 loss, and in Game 5, 3 overtime wins in the series. Huge clutch stuff. Look at Mario Lemieux, 12 goals in 11 games, 21 total points. Now we are matched up against the reigning Stanley Cup champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Edmonton and Anaheim, the other Final Four series here. Let's see how we do. 3-2 loss, Game 1. 3-2 win, Game 2. 3-1 loss. 2-1 loss. And a 3-2 loss in round number 3. Of course, so close, but yet so far away. We lose yet again in the third round, matching our best output since year number 2 for Lemieux here. But of course, still a disappointing outcome here. We definitely want to see a Stanley Cup for not only for Mario, but Sid is about to retire or very close to it, so we wanted to get something for him there, but maybe next season. And in the Stanley Cup final, the Anaheim Ducks, who advanced by beating Edmonton in 7 games, take out Tampa in a sweep. Anaheim's first cup since 2007, maybe not. Let's take a look at the awards. I feel like they won. Yeah, they won in 21-22 in year 1 of this. So they have now doubled up and won a second cup. And one other note, Mario Lemieux actually won the Art Ross this season. I forgot to go check before we started off the playoffs. 109 points is good enough to win the Art Ross, only outscored by Connor McDavid with 61 goals to Lemieux's 60. Another big offseason here. We have a couple notable free agents. Lindblom, who had a very solid year, but mainly our captain, Sidney Crosby. First time he's been a UFA at any point during this. He got extended the last time. Let's see if the AI GM actually gets him re-signed or what happens, or if Sid finally takes a step away from the Penguins for the first time in his career. Looks like at 41 years old, Marc-Andre Fleury is not done yet. He has extended for 2 more years at 2.7, but Blomqvist is probably going to be the starter moving forward. So for the first time at age 38, about to be 39, Sidney Crosby is no longer a Pittsburgh Penguin. I'm not sure if he'll end up getting re-signed or anything like that by the AI, but he has officially tested the free agent market. Let's see what happens with Sid. And thankfully, our AI GM is actually smart and re-signed Crosby. Let's see what he got. 2 years at just under 5.7. Thank goodness. Crosby in a different jersey would just be weird. So Crosby is back for 2 more years. That'll probably take him to retirement. But Sid is back in Pittsburgh. So our line's heading into year number 6, the same first line that we had last year that was very successful. Coming back again, Lemieux, BUCHNEVICH, and Guentzel, but a bit of a different looking second line. Bjorkstrand jumps in here. Colton Sissons, a generated AI player from EA. Cody Glass and Carter Verhaeghe. We probably have the best center depth in the league by far. Matthew Joseph, Tyler Madden here. On defense, Chico and Marino still the same. Sanheim, Zadorov, and Capobianco and Burns all the same. And in goal, we have Campbell, who signed as a free agent. And it looks like Fleury is now down in the minors. So Fleury will likely finish his career down in Wilkes-Barre, unfortunately. But he did stick around until did sign until he was supposed to be about 43 years old. So we are on to year number 6. Let's simulate and see how it goes. So year 6 has been simulated. It is in the books. We placed second in our division behind a red-hot Columbus Blue Jackets team. 106 points, 48, 24, and 10 on the year. We have a first-round matchup against the Carolina Hurricanes coming up. Let's go see what the stats were like. Taking a look at our stats, again, a very similar season. Lemieux, 57 goals, 40 assists, 97 points. He continues to just be excellent. Buchnevich and Guentzel on that top line with him, still very good. Crosby, 39 years old, 72 points on the year, still an 84 in the season. And obviously our center depth was pretty good, 42 points all the way down. Our goaltending was pretty much league average throughout the season. Campbell and Blomqvist. It looks like Blomqvist will be the starter heading into the playoffs given Campbell has an injury. But another stellar season for Lemieux. Let's take a look at his point totals as we go along here. 575 points in 486 games. 320 goals to 255 assists. He has been dominant. But of course, what we're missing is a Stanley Cup, the all-important, the most important prize in hockey. So we go ahead here and we're going to simulate just like we've done in the previous seasons and see if this is the year for Pittsburgh, for Mario, for Crosby, for, I guess, yeah, Mario and Crosby are the only two that are still here. Malkin left, Letang retired. So it's just Mario and Sid. Let's see if we can get a cup. Game 1 win. Game 2 loss. Game 3 loss. Game 4 big win. Game 5 win. And a Game 6 win. We take out Carolina in 6 games, move on to the second round to face off against the Columbus Blue Jackets, who were excellent this year. Game 1 loss. Game 2 loss. Game 3 win. Game 4 loss. And could this be the end? It will be in overtime, a heartbreaker to Columbus. We are out in the second round. So Tampa Bay, in a rematch of the bubble playoffs from 2020, actually ends up, repeating, or I shouldn't say repeating here, but their 4th Stanley Cup in, I think it's 7 years here. Just a dominant showing. Tampa again, Stanley Cup champions. And our old friend Sidney Crosby, or sorry, not Sidney Crosby, my bad, Evgeny Malkin. Evgeny Malkin has retired 1,482 points in 1,326 games. Much like Letang, he is a surefire Hall of Famer. Brent Burns, who was playing for our minor league affiliate and played pretty well down there, he also is retiring this season. And another surefire Hall of Famer, Marc-Andre Fleury, 1,193 games played in the NHL, 675 wins, 98 shutouts. An incredible career, a Hall of Fame career for Marc-Andre Fleury. So that just leaves Mario and Sid. All right, so entering year number 7, Jake Guentzel, Lemieux, and Pavel Buchnevich still together. Crosby still second line center, now has a new winger in Jeff Skinner. Got a couple of rookies here. We still have some pretty good depth through our lineup. Looks like Marino is the one who has checked out this past offseason. Our defense a little bit weaker as a result. But in goal, we have John Gibson and some scratch defensemen. But John Gibson is a new addition in net for our squad, 34 years old. Still pretty good goaltender. So we'll see how that goes. Entering year number 7 with the Penguins. Coming off last year, Lost to Columbus in round number 2. A disappointing season for sure. However, our management has now brought back Sidney Crosby, which is good to see. But Crosby, aging, 40 years old now, just turned 40, and Lemieux, 33. So we're getting out of the contention stage here in Pittsburgh. And this simulation might be a bit of a failure for Mario and Sid and everybody here in Pittsburgh, but we'll see. I think Mario's still got lots of time left on his deal, 5 years left, so he's here until he's 38. There's lots of time left to try and get a cup, maybe some on-the-fly tweaking, but here we go with year number 7. So year 7 regular season in the books. We have a second place finish, another first round matchup with the Carolina Hurricanes on the horizon here. Originally started off the season very hot, but around the midway point we cooled off quite a bit, and we find ourselves second in the Metro. Let's go ahead and take a look at the player stats. So Mario nearly eclipses that 60 goal plateau again in his career. An excellent year from a lot of players here. Bjorkstrand, Glass, both over 60 points. Crosby at age 40 having an 80-point season. The guy just does not slow down. Buchnevich, Gensel at a point per game, and Mario, of course, 58 goals here. As we take a look at his stats, 673 points in 568 games played. Ties his second best season goal output here. I think that's his third best season overall as well for points. So still playing very, very well, even at age 33 here. Gibson, as our starter, was pretty much league average, solid, but we'll see how this goes heading into the playoffs for our squad, because we are not satisfied any longer with these good seasons in the regular season, but unfortunate results in the playoffs. Lemieux, 58 goals. Oh, he won the Rocket Richard this year and second in points to Jack Eichel, but we need to win a Stanley Cup. We are running out of time here with Crosby at 40. Maybe retires this season. We will find out. And we do our live sim of the playoffs. So first round against Carolina. Game 1 win. Game 2 loss. Game 3 win. Game 4 win. In a Game 5 overtime win. We get through to the second round. We got to face Columbus. So we are on to Columbus. Here we go. Can we get ourselves back to the third round for the third time in this Lemieux simulation? Game 1 win. Game 2 win. Game 3 win. Crosby lighting it up. Game 4 loss. Game 5 loss. Oh no. Oh, we got through. Back to the third round. Now it gets the Buffalo Sabres, Vegas, and Winnipeg in the other Western Conference final. Here we go. Can we make it to the Stanley Cup final? Loss in Game 1. Loss in Game 2. Win in Game 3. Loss in Game 4. Win in Game 5. Loss in Game 6. We are out in the third round for the third time, and that might do it for Crosby in Pittsburgh. He might retire this offseason. We will see. He does have another year left on his contract, but we have no idea. But we do have a Stanley Cup final rematch of Eichel versus the Sabres. And this time, Vegas beats the Buffalo Sabres in the Stanley Cup final. Vegas getting their first franchise Stanley Cup. Jack Eichel gets to raise the cup at age 31. And there it is, the third domino of the 4 to fall. Sidney Crosby ends his career 1,862 points, retiring alongside another great Patrick Kane. Patrice Bergeron still here too. Bergeron, 42 years old as he retires here in Ottawa, but Crosby, 1,600 games played, 1,862 points, 679 goals. An excellent career for Sidney Crosby, but now it's just up to Lemieux to try to bring a cup to Pittsburgh. And as we head into year 7's offseason, Carter Verhaeghe and Travis Sanheim are really our biggest players to get re-signed in this offseason. Looks like we got a prospect coming through the ranks here, Vitaly Kabanov. We're at the point where all of these like EA generated really good players are starting to take over the game. So a lot of names are going to be ridiculous here, but and also look at our goaltending. Our top 4 goaltenders all expiring. So let's see what the AI pulls off here. Lots of money to do it. Cap space $24 million. See if they get some of these goaltenders re-signed and what our team looks like coming in next season. So year number 8, here is our lineup. That top line stays together. GIBSON, Lemieux, 33. All players here up on the third line are the first line rather, are 33 years old. This line sticking together has been excellent for us. The first season without Sidney Crosby in the lineup since 2005 for the Pittsburgh Penguins. 23 years in between a Crosby-less lineup for the Pittsburgh Penguins here, but very clearly our top 3 lines are good, and then it drops off considerably for our 4th line. This may be due to potentially maybe it's our... Nope, I think that's just it. Oh dear. Yeah, a very big drop off on that 4th line for our squad. But that might be just due to some salary cap restrictions right now. Chychrun and this upstart rookie, Vitaly Kabanov. Capobianco still here. Kalen Addison found his way back after the trade for Jason Zucker, Rathbone, and Andrew PEEKE. And then in goal, Gibson did re-sign, same with Joel Blomqvist, who came back as well. And we have some scratches there. So that is our team heading into year number 8. Let's start simulating, see where we're at. And with the Sidney Crosby era being over in Pittsburgh, it might also be the era being done of being competitive. A terrible season, 27-43 and 12 on the year. Lemieux cannot carry the squad back to the playoffs. No playoffs for the second time since this is the first time since the 3rd season of Lemieux's resimulation here that the Penguins have not made the playoffs. A brutal year. No playoffs. We're going to have to go on to the offseason. Taking a look at the player stats here, Lemieux certainly did not slow down. He keeps eclipsing that 50-goal plateau almost no matter what. 91 points in 82 games, but it was just everybody else around him. Wasn't really up to speed. On the goalie side, not a very good season from John Gibson either. 0 shutouts at 3.45 goals against. It is truly dark times in Pittsburgh, 2029. Lemieux, 34 years old. I believe he still has 4 years left on his deal, 3 after this one. And yeah, this is turning into a nightmare of a simulation. We thought we'd be around the cup. We thought we would get another couple of Stanley Cups for Sidney Crosby and Malkin and Letang, and maybe even Fleury when he came back, but no dice. It has been disappointing so far. And crazy enough, taking a look at this, Lemieux is the only player who scored more than 18 goals on this team, which is just sharing so much of the goal share. It's just Lemieux doing it all. So Lemieux had a fantastic year, but really his teammates did not come through for him. Still places pretty high in the league scoring, does not outscore or get himself even close to the league top scoring, with Austin Matthews having 62. The Chicago Blackhawks are Stanley Cup champions again. First time since 2015 that they have won the Stanley Cup. They beat Ottawa in the Stanley Cup final in 2029. We roll over the decade into 2030 coming up, and a big offseason for the Penguins. And highlighting some retirees just because he scored so much, played till he was 43 years of age. Alexander Ovechkin, 1,041 goals in his career. Nick Backstrom, his teammate for many, many years, assisting on almost all of his goals. Look at that. But yeah, some big retirements around the league this season. Panarin as well out in New York. Finished up his career there. Goaltenders, Carey Price calls it quits at age 41. So a big offseason, a player that has been excellent for us and has had really just one down year. Pavel Buchnevich is expiring here, so it'll be interesting to see if he gets re-signed with the amount of cap space, 11.3, that is available to us. Goaltenders, Gibson and Blomqvist are both expiring as unrestricted free agents, so it looks like we're going to have some change in our lineup going into next season, plus Guentzel, 34, Lemieux, 34 as well. We are aging our team out rapidly here. But one good note is we may have some help on the way here in a season or two, but I fear it will be too late. Wes Bell is a 4th overall draft pick of our team, but 73 overall, just maybe too far away to develop into a everyday NHLer right away. Unfortunate, as we are really staring down the barrel here of a simulation where Lemieux doesn't even get a sniff at a cup. So heading into year number 9, Guentzel regressing a bit, Lemieux regressing a bit, Oliver Bjorkstrand 34, 78 overall. Doesn't really feel like he should be on the top line. We do have some new players coming in, Tolvanen, Boqvist, and McMichael, but it doesn't look like this team has improved much over last season. Chychrun, very much the same lineup we're running out in year number 9 here. Alexander Georgiev and Jack Campbell stick around. Our goaltending pretty subpar here. It's going to be an interesting year. I don't expect we're going to make playoffs, as also not only did the other part of that big top line that we had for a few years there, Pavel Buchnevich, has now moved on. But we go ahead with year number 9, Lemieux, 34 years old, about to turn 35 this offseason. His career coming to an end slowly but surely, and it looks like he might have some reasons to leave Pittsburgh here in the next couple seasons. So year number 9 has come and gone in a yet another disappointing season. 28, 46, and 8. Another missed playoffs. We are the 2nd worst team aside from the St. Louis Blues in the Central this season. Another tough season for the Penguins. Lemieux is aging. Not sure what's going to happen here. We might be watching the end of Lemieux's career, be in another city, be for another team. He's got probably a couple years left on his contract at this point. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. 92 points. He eclipses 50 goals again. He is still performing so well. The team around him just not really doing much. Unfortunately, just doesn't have the talent around him to pull them to the playoffs. Georgiev and Campbell, both awful in the net this past season, and really starting to drop down those rankings of the top players in the league. Still up there for goals. He's been incredible for goals in his career. 856 points in 732 games, including 480 goals. So he has been a dynamic goal scorer while he's been here. I think, let's see, he's 35 now. He has 2 years remaining on his deal after this one. There won't be a trade because of how the mode works, but he is probably going to run out most of his career here in Pittsburgh, maybe sign somewhere for the remaining couple of years of his career. The Sabres defeat the Sharks to win the 2030 Stanley Cup. I think this is Buffalo's 2nd Stanley Cup since we started the simulation here for Lemieux. But at this point, it looks like Lemieux is not even going to come close to the Stanley Cup. And heading into the re-sign phase, Cody Glass, Jake Guentzel, 35 now. He is starting to regress. Lemieux is as well. DRIEDGER, who's been one of the draft picks from earlier on in the mode, for 2022, he was a 6th round pick. Very impressive that he even made it to the NHL. But lots of turnover maybe this season coming up. And we did get to draft RADOSLAV ELIAS from, I'm not even sure what league he's from, but he was a 2nd overall pick. He might be some big help for us in the interim to make this team better. So heading into year number 10, it looks like our GM actually took care of a lot of off-season tasks, got a lot of players in here. Lemieux still regressing down now to a 93. He is 35 years old. Wes Bell is now on the top line with Mario. Marco Rossi comes over as a free agent signing. Quinton Byfield, we replaced that center depth that we left with Sidney Crosby when he retired. He comes over, and it looks like our 4th line is pretty good now. We kind of shored that up. On defense, we're still running very similar to what we had before. Jeremy Poirier and RADOSLAV ELIAS now coming into the lineup, but Jacob Chychrun still the big one here. He's been here for quite a while. And in goal, Joel Blomqvist back after a season where he, I guess, was signed by another team and then released and then re-signed by Pittsburgh. So let's see how year number 10 goes. This is a much better team than we had the last 2 seasons. Let's see if this team can get itself back into playoff contention. And for the 3rd consecutive year, ever since Sidney Crosby retired, Pittsburgh Penguins have missed the playoffs yet again, 3rd year in a row. We are really, wow, the Sabres at 128 points in this season. Crazy season for them. However, another disappointing season for the Penguins here. Just cannot get it going at all. And another playoff miss. Looks like with 1 year left on the deal for Lemieux, he might be changing scenery next offseason. But yeah, another missed playoffs in Pittsburgh. And for the first time as the regression is truly on for Mario here, 34 goals, 42 points, 76 points, still leads the team, but unfortunately is now, for the first time since he did this career resimulation, it's the first time he's dipped below a point per game in any season. And it's starting to show. He is down to an 89 overall. I think he was a 93 when the season started, so he is dropping fast. He's 36 years old. He's in that spot where he's going to regress. Skating is really starting to take a hit. And yeah, this is probably the beginning of the end for Mario Lemieux. But another year still left on his contract. Probably a disappointing one coming up. Buffalo Sabres repeat as Stanley Cup champions back-to-back years. Didn't really have a test all the way through the playoffs. Really handled every team well. Back-to-back championships for the city of Buffalo. The only off-season re-signing needing to be done, that's a big one here, I would say, is probably KABANOV on our D line. $27.5 million to work with for our GM. Yeah, it's we are in those dog days here. Lemieux, again, still 1 year left on his deal. I'm not sure if he'll extend or not for the team. He might leave. He might head to a different team. But we'll have to see how this offseason unfolds. So as we head into year number 11, looks like we have a lot of center depth this season. Looks like the GM has built the team a little bit better heading into this year. Byfield now the number 1 center. Lemieux has moved over to the wing. Still a 90 faceoff, so should probably be there. And actually, Byfield's also a 90 faceoff, so that's fine. Teuvo Teravainen, 37 years old, comes over. I think we got Marco Kasper. A lot of new faces here. Defense, very much the same as we've been running the last few years. And in goal, Joel Blomqvist still there. So, again, a strong offensive team, a weak defensive, and a weak goaltending team. Definitely need a miracle to see a cup hoisted in Pittsburgh. And despite a valiant effort, the Pittsburgh Penguins lose out on the playoffs in the last game of the regular season. The Buffalo Sabres, the reigning 2-time Cup champs, leapfrog themselves into the second wildcard spot on the final day of the season and kick the Pittsburgh Penguins out. So 4 consecutive seasons now of missing the playoffs, and I believe that is Lemieux's final year on his contract. He might be looking to go elsewhere. And it certainly was not for a lack of playing well. Lemieux, 58 goals, nearly eclipses that 60-point plateau again, back up to 97 points. 58 goals, 97 points, had a very good year. Byfield and Teravainen next to him. Looks like offensively had a solid year. Goaltending not really there. And defending probably not so much either. 4 consecutive years missed. Let's go make sure if this is the final year of Lemieux here. Lemieux, anyways, taking a look at it, he eclipses his 1,000 points, 572 goals, 896 games played here. And let's take a look at his contract. It is the final year of his deal. I'm not sure if he's been extended. Let's go check that. He has not been extended yet. So we'll see what happens in this offseason coming up. He can be extended, but let's see how much. He's looking for $7.8 million. Likely he'll probably be extended, but we'll see what the AI does here. But yet another disappointing season. They did very well. They got themselves really into the picture, but could not solidify a playoff spot. And as his contract expires, Mario Lemieux has decided to hang up the skates. He does it alongside one of his best teammates of all time, Jake Guentzel. Wow, was not expecting this to come this early. I thought we would see him probably sign another contract. Only 37 years old. I thought he'd probably play for a few more seasons before doing this. But look at this. Lemieux has called it quits. The Penguins missed the playoffs for 4 consecutive seasons after Sidney Crosby's retirement. And he has decided that is it. The Mario Lemieux career simulation is over. So as we go ahead and try to make our summary of what happened here. We asked what would happen. Here is what happened. First season, Lemieux has 90 points, loses in the first round. Second season, 107 points, his second best career season, 4th overall in the league. We lose in the third round. Third season, 90 points. The Penguins missed the playoffs. Fourth year, 82 points. The Penguins win the Metro. They get swept in the first round by Florida, and Letang retires. Year number 5, 109 points, his career best in this simulation. Won the Metro, won the President's Trophy, lost to Tampa Bay in round 3 in 5 games. Year 6, 97 points, the second place in the Metro, lost to Columbus in round number 2. Year number 7, second in the Metro again, lost to Buffalo in the third round. Sidney Crosby retires after year number 7. Year number 8, 91 points, misses the playoffs. Year number 9, 92 points, misses the playoffs. Year number 10, 76 points, misses the playoffs. In year number 11, 97 points, misses the playoffs and retires. So I'm coming onto the screen now just at the end of all this. This was a fascinating little look. I plan on doing this with more scenarios, more legends coming back and seeing what they would be like if they, came back into the current day NHL. This obviously is not how I envisioned this one going. I thought Lemieux coming in with the Penguins would probably result in, probably a couple of Stanley Cups at least. Certainly not the case here. Unfortunately, a little disappointing. Lemieux doesn't even really come close. Couple third rounds, gets beaten out. Doesn't even get to the Stanley Cup final even once. As for points, he was excellent. He was an excellent player the whole time during this simulation. But yeah, unfortunate. He comes away with an Art Ross, 4 Rocket Richard trophies, 3 Lady Bings, but that is it for the Mario Lemieux career simulation. We are on to the next one. If you're watching this video, you want to see one, recommend it down in the comment section. I will get around to all of them. I probably have 1 or 2 already lined up that I will do. But yeah, this was fun, an interesting little experiment with NHL 22. I will get around to more. Very, very excited to do all these. And of course, this whole series was really inspired by a YouTuber, Click Productions, who does this with the NBA 2K series. So thanks to Click for the inspiration for this one. I hope I did not rip you off too bad. Of course, his channel, you should absolutely check it out if you're into basketball or anything like that. He does so much good work over on that channel. But anyways, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the Mario Lemieux career re-simulation. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.